Hey everyone, welcome to day 3, or part 3, episode 392, working on our giant page of 20 little images. Notice giant page of tiny images. Play on words there. So we have finished the first 2.5 rows, or thereabouts. This is my empty virgin copy of Small Victories, so you can see the whole page. And then I'm going to go ahead and zoom in, and we will see where we're at on the page. We have finished yesterday. We finished off with Holbein doing this hydrangea flower, which, you know, some of these flowers aren't the best flower for the pencil set, and I would say that that hydrangea did not give the Holbeins a chance to shine for me compared to some of the other flowers, but they still did a nice job given the very, very tiny elements that they were coloring. And we have 7 flowers left to color. We're going to crank those out. The very first set that we will be using today is the Polychromos. In fact, I think after we are done, there's only one last set of pencils, set number 35, that will start off our house page. And that set is going to be Derwent Inktense. I have the 72 set. Okay, so Polychromos. Here's our 5 colors. All these colors should be looking familiar. I will say that the pink options, the light pink for the Polychromos, is on the weak side. So we have this, I had to choose salmon, I believe it is. Yes, salmon was my pink that I chose. So I have the 120 set. We're going to get started here with our mustardy color. I'm not going to spend the time because I would like to get all of these finished. We did 8 yesterday, and it took over 50 minutes, and I would like to finish off not going over if possible. Of course, that's my own discipline, I would say, that causes whether we go over or not. So I've been using this goldish color to help create green out of the blues. Just to recap, we are using a inspiration image that I shared the first day. In fact, now I realize that I said I was going to pop that in on part 2 and I never did. I'm going to say it again. I will try to pop in to some part. Hopefully maybe you have already seen the inspiration image. I'm going to actually move this over. That way I will for sure have room here on this right side over here to pop in my inspiration, which was actually a pair of yoga pants that my friend Terry wore, and I was just so impressed with them. I knew I had this project coming up. I knew it had to be very limited colors, and so she very graciously let me take a picture of her pants and gave me permission to share it with you, the image. So we're going to go ahead and take this nice magenta-y color. It might even be called magenta. Nope. Middle purple pink. Perfect description. So polys are the pencils I have the most experience with. Actually, my first experience with this color palette actually was the Albrecht Dürer, which I bought a 60 set to replace watercolors when I first started traveling. And I've told you guys that many times. I sometimes feel like a broken record, but I don't know if you remember, if it feels redundant when I reshare things. So yes, I used the Albrecht Dürer first and loved them so much. Started getting into animal portraits and nature drawing. So the people that I followed at the time used Polychromos as their primary. There was a few of them, actually 3 different artists, Bonnie Snowden being the one that I've stayed with the longest, mainly because she does the free. She still, even though she has like her own academy and Patreon and all those things, you know, she grew really fast, but she always kept like these free live draws that I have thoroughly enjoyed over the years. The other artists have their own little training programs, and they're successful as well in their own right. And I totally support that. But my budget for doing this coloring hobby was pretty much zero, aside from affording the papers and the pencils. That was it for me. Very limited budget. So I still, to this day, many, many years later, still do her live draws. In fact, I have 3 of them that I'm in process of. It used to be that I would start one and I would finish it. I would not stop till it was done. So part of my growth as a colorist is learning to be very comfortable with coloring, choosing colors, and not getting myself worked up to the point where I spend 40 hours and won't stop until it's done, and I don't eat and I don't sleep, and I'm very picky about the finished product. I have really, really learned to relax. I want to be able to be a relaxed colorist and do this for relaxing. And this last year, starting this channel and the daily color has been the mechanism I've used to really focus on the relaxing part of coloring. And it also got me into using coloring books. I have owned coloring books forever. In fact, I just brought them home from my mom's, where they were in storage for 8 years. And I was quite pleased with my collection that I have. So right now I'm just taking these lovely Polychromos that are doing fantastic. I know them by heart. And I'm doing some color blending where I'm taking the light blue. Notice that my light blue, I did not share that. It's a cobalt turquoise, but it's not as turquoisey green as the other sets. I noticed that about my choices. And I could have gone more aqua, but I felt that it was too aqua. So this was the compromise. So I don't have quite as easy a time of getting the color to be green, but I am using light layers to layer this mustard, intermingling with the 2 blues to come up with a nice greenish tone. I'm going to leave these flowers all white because I can. Don't forget to use white. White is very powerful. Again, I had mentioned, I think it was yesterday, that I had hoped or had considered putting in a gray. I've used a gray before. I even used a gray on these 4 like house/castle images, and half of them I added the gray and the other half isn't without the gray. And then I used what I had done as a demonstration in my coloring group to show people the power of 1 dark gray pencil. Not black, because I'm not fond of black. Polychromos, they felt fabulous. It's almost, because I'm so familiar with them, it's like putting on your favorite pair of shoes to go for a walk. So it's not like I go, wow, I love these pencils, because I expect them to behave the way they just felt for me. So I will keep them in mind for the King of the Hill for the day 3. I will be picking my top 2, and then I will probably go away, and I think I'm going to, at the monthly review, which this is May, this is March, the beginning of March, I'll put some notes in, and I will do a bigger ranking of this page at the month end. And then when memberships comes into fruition and I do the stream, as I'm calling them, where I piece together all of the episodes, then I add imagery, detailed imagery. I will probably, with this one, I'll make notes, and I will create a little add-on video segment at the end of it that talks about, I might do a couple of different things. I'd like to tell you which one is my favorite image, and then I'd like to talk about my ranking, my 30 image, where I had 30 sets that I colored with. I ranked them and I will do some sort of tiered ranking. So that's all going to be down the road. So let's move on to the second set, which is the Brutfuner flower boxes. Let's see if I can find where I hid them on my Lazy Susan here. Are they here? Yes. I do have some fun sets to play with today. I have one that will be extra challenging because of the color palette. So we'll let you mull that over while it's coming down the road. It's second to last. I'm going to flip upside down because the next flower is the bottom of the row and then the clipboard is in the way. So where am I going here? It's kind of funny. That actually is worse. That is not the way I would want it to be. Sorry about that. I think my answer to this problem is that I move my Lazy Susan out of the way. I will tell you guys that this particular Lazy Susan, which is a Dollar Tree item, is so old that the three legs that hold it together it's so loose now that it comes apart, and I have to be really careful not to lift it up by the top. I have to lift it up by the bottom. Okay, so here's our image. I do have my set of 5 flower box. Here's what they look like. The one thing to note is the barrels aren't the best. I think the Artisto had really bright barrels, so this hot pink is going to be nowhere near as hot pink as the barrel looks. And I think that the green and blue are also not quite as vibrant as the colors show. I love the images that have branches because this mustard gets to shine. It looks okay as the center for the flowers, but it is fun when I get to have it be a bigger part of the image, like being a branch. And then we're going to do some flowers. Again, I'm challenged by having, so this has these little lines, and for whatever reason, the shape of these flowers makes me want to do lines instead of ovals or little curves. So that's what I'm doing here, which is, I know I just talked about doing the opposite with 2 other flowers similar to this shape, but yet a little bit different. So there we go. I've got some veining in the details, and now I'm going to blend those out with my pink. As you can see, it is not fluorescent pink. It is a nice soft pink. These are a fantastic pencil for the price, the budget price. They're a little bit stickier, I would say. Not anywhere near as silky as a Polychromos, not as buttery as a Color, which the Color are made in the factory with these Brutfuners. But these are an oil-based, and I believe, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that the Color is a wax-based, so their formula is a bit different than what these flower boxes are. And I feel it's a little drier, a little bit more on the drier, silky side. But they are still nice. And you can layer them, or you can do some smooshing with them. You can even smoosh the Polychromos if you want. I'm going to take and do these buds in just a soft color. I don't want them to be white. And then we will dive into, I want to use the blue. Oh, some of these are sharpened. I guess I haven't been sharpening. I've just been grabbing the pencils. And in the interest of time, I would say compared to a normal page where I'm picking 1 to 4 sets of pencils, that it is significant time, many times longer for me to do a page with this many sets of pencils. I'm grabbing every set of my pencils now. They are all alphabetical now. I've shared my storage area, And it was wonderful stepping on my step stool, reaching up, and in alphabetical order pulling down the appropriate case for all of these budget pencils with my tote that I have my professional pencils sitting on the end with my cubes. I have to be really careful with my cat. He has not chewed on a pencil yet. He's not a terrible chewer, but I just really don't want to have him get the idea that he can attack these, play with these, any of my pencils. I don't care how inexpensive they are. They have a job to do, and I need to keep them safe. So I have a table, and I keep everything up very high, and I don't think he will ever bother them where they're at. And when I am done, I have to immediately stop what I'm doing and put them away. I put him out in the screen room today when I was filming part 2, so I could have the 9. I think I had 10 sets sitting here. Then I laid them on the table when I was done, and I had to be super careful not to leave him unattended in the room because these pencils are so precious to me. I'm not really the best. They do sometimes fall. I have ceramic tile floors, so that is done. These Brutfuners were, again, they're like putting on a shoe. They're my very first budget pencil. And so both of these 2 images I've just done felt totally like being at home in my favorite chair, sitting, relaxing with a cup of tea. So trying to rank them, being how much I love them and how well they work, and they did fantastic, both of them, is going to make the grading pretty challenging. I now have to move to the top of the row, which now I'm going to turn upside down. That makes sense. Makes perfect sense. So here we are. And the next set that we get to play with is Artisto. So Artisto was interesting. It's a 72 set. The reason why I purchased these is they ranked really high on a video done by Coloring Bliss. And they ranked so high, and I went out, and there was like an $8 off coupon, so I got them for a screamin' deal. And I remember sitting in our guest room. I don't even know why I was in the guest room. We have a Murphy bed, the biggest piece of furniture that I have yet to assemble. And I love to assemble furniture. So I'm going to go ahead and I've got our color palette. Notice that the pink is very light and the magenta is very magenta. So my color choices in this 72 were not perfect. The the honey brown is a little bit too brown, but let's just see what we have. I'm sure it will work out fine. These, I swatched them. Watching something, I don't have a TV in there. I think I watched on my little Fire tablet that I have. Watched a show while swatching. And I think I got really sore being in that bed, not in my own bed that I have in our room that is an adjustable bed. It's significant. I have to remember that my light is from the top and I'm upside down. My leaves can have a little bit of this brown to try to help with some green, but it's all very tiny. And I'm not cleaning up. When I'm going over the lines, you'll see I'm not fixing it. I'm kind of more talking through what I think of these pencils. So yes, the colors are a little bit limited at 72. I find a 72 set a little bit too minimalist. I'm the one that loves the Flower Box 520 set, so I'm not really a good judge of a 72 set. My expectations, I even find a 120 set somewhat limiting. And I like to blend and make colors, and I still find it limiting. So let's do our pinks. But these are soft. These are blendable. The colors are vibrant. The font on the pencils is tiny and cursive. The numbers are okay. And I really don't like the cursive here. That is just really, really hard for me to read. And they don't have a bigger set. So if it's not a 120 or bigger, I do find, even though I own plenty of 72s, and for a beginner, I think the Prang 50 set is a great starting point. But anybody in my coloring group that I have certain people who know they just want to color to relax, period, to relax. So the Prangs are great. You'll never need more than the 50. But if you want to get into the blending and the combos and really dig into the whole coloring experience, I say go ahead and get a 120 if you can, because there are so many inexpensive 120 sets. Starjoy Gold and Color, as well as the Brutfuner, come to mind. So these are nice. I wish my pink was a little bit darker. Almost like the Polychromos, this salmony pink was all I had to choose from. And there we have it. We'll keep these lighter. I think though, for more realism, just a little bit more, I will spend 2 seconds and make the bottom of my tulips have a little bit of a shadow. All right, not bad. Not bad at all. Again, the palette's a little bit limited. They're hexagonal shaped. That's okay with me. Doesn't bother me at all. The core isn't big, but it's not small. They hold it point really well. Decent pencils. Definitely a decent pencil. Moving on to our next flower here is going to be... Oh, I think I messed up. So I have to interject something. I'm out of order now. I see here a set of pencils, and I missed them. In fact, it's twice now that I have forgotten them, and I feel really bad for them. They're a great pencil. The colors are very limiting. So when I told you I had one set of very interesting color palette pencils, and it was going to be the second to last, I actually have 2 very interesting color palette options. And I think what I'm going to do, oh, it's perfect, because I did the Artisto. So these next 2 are going to be that limited color palette, not that their limitations are the same. So Derwent Drawing is a set of pencils. There are only 24 of them in the set. They have a giant, like a 4mm core, if not even a little bit bigger. It might be as big as those Cretacolor metallics. These might be 5mm cores. So only 24 colors. These are the closest I could get. There is no pink. I think these are light fast, like Derwent light fast. So I picked the closest to the honey color. I don't have any leaves. That's very sad. We're going to make the stars this honey color. I do have a vision that includes the background of the entire page being black. Maybe washi tape off around the edges, but in between each of the elements, I want to have black. Okay, so we've got only 2 flowers. I don't have any leaves. I can certainly make, this is the closest to a medium blue that I came up with. And it is quite dark. The name will be, or the number, because it's ink blue. There's a number and a name on this. So you will see the number posted. I have then the lightest blue called Smoke Blue. This is closest to my teal aqua color. I'm going to see if just doing the stems and the grassy version of leaves is enough for me. I mean, I can even take these dots. So this is a lovely, they are a little bit on the dry side. They're not silky. The closest I can say is the Caran d'Ache Pablos actually is the closest to me for these. They're not silky, they're not sticky, they're not buttery. They are just very soft, and I can feel a little bit of drag on them. They blend like just instant blending when you touch two colors together. Without hardly any pressure at all. They just like blend together. I don't know what the magic is, but there is a magic to this set of pencils. And for years, everybody has said they want to see more colors. And Derwent has not given us what we want. I'm going to go ahead and put these, you're seeing me do a little bit of blue here. And now I'm going to do the pinks, which is actually a lavender. Let's start with the dark. Ruby red, or ruby earth. I have 3 more to get through after this. So I do have a 3rd unique set. That's our last one we're going to work with, but it has a pretty decent color range offering compared to this and the next set. So these can be crayon-like, like what I just put down, that ruby earth is crayon-like, but I'm taking now the closest to the light pink, which really isn't pink, it's actually lavender-ish, and I can get the blend, but they don't go really light. There's no real light tones. It has a color called Chinese white that is very popular amongst the nature artists. It goes over the top of dark colors nicely depending on what paper you're using. And so there they are. A unique palette. Nice pencils. Probably not the stars for the day, though. Boy, I just messed up doubly, didn't I? So the next set that I am going with, I'm going to have to keep track of all this, is the other limited set. I'm making a little note. Where is a note? Two of them are going to be out of place. I jumped on the Polychromos and skipped 2. So the next color palette we have Castle Arts Harmonious, and this is a very unique set of pencils. There's 72 of them. They are new, they are very fun, and they are excellent add-on colors, kind of like metallics or pastels, probably more like pastels. In that the palette is very unique. So the closest I could get to my honey color is this purpley tan. They're kind of regal, muted tones, and I'm going to play with this butterfly, and it is going to be quite the challenge. So we're just going to see. I have not pre-colored, just like I didn't pre-color yesterday. And so we're just going to see what I come up with. We have the butterfly. Oh, golly, you guys, I do this. Here we are. I have put in the butterfly some tan in the body, and then a couple of the stripes, and then the centers of the flowers. These little tiny sprigs can also have a little bit of that color. Going with the dark, I think I'm going to go ahead and give him a shadow with the dark. This is the closest to the dark pink. It's called Beetroot. I may try to make these little pom-pom flowers look pom-pomish. We'll see if I can just do some light scrumbling ovals. What will determine if it works is if I can get my light pink to, which is a kind of a dusty rose. That's a perfect description of it. See if I can keep some of that fluffiness. And then the rest is going to be the blue-green. We will see what colors I was able to come up with. These are like the Soft Touch formula. There's the Soft Touch and the Castle Arts Gold. And to me, these are very much creamy like the Soft Touch. The golds for me, which are the oil-based, are crumblier and not anywhere near as creamy. They also feel a lot like the pastel tints. They're a very nice blending pencil. Very easy. Easy like the Color pencils are easy. I can get a picture done so fast with these. So this is the darker blue. It's not very dark, and it's actually called Gentian blue. It was the closest I could get. I am not sure with my... See, all of the colors are cold. There's no orange, brown, tan at all. This is a cool color palette. And so whether I can get these leaves to appear green is going to be a challenge. I will use the lighter, which is this. I said I wasn't going to be showing you these, but the Harmonious are so, the color palette is so unique that I think showing you the names as I present each one is worth it, since for a lot of you this will be your first time seeing them in action. I have created at least, this is a newer set, so I don't have, I'm on round 8 right now, almost finished with round 8, but I think I got these, you know, round 5 of rotating through all of my sets. So this might be like set number 33, I think. And so going back through this book, through my episodes, which someday I do have in mind to create a master list. Since I'm just about done with the book, though, I want to focus on the book, and then I have my website, and I will post a master list of the episodes, and I have to, it'll be in Excel, so I'll have to come up with some sort of, I want it to be linked, so you can actually click on the link to get to it, and that's all part of the whole membership being developed. All of this has to be fleshed out. As you can see, you've heard me mention memberships, and I keep not having time to finish it because we're in March already. I just still keep working it. At some point, it's all going to happen. I'll be done with all my traveling, done with trips, and like I said, I will have time this summer to relax, raise my kitten, and get the memberships finished and loaded up and live. And I'm not beating myself up about it. It is all a part of the growth process and takes time. So there you go. That is the Harmonious. I think they are a fantastic pencil. They were very fast and very easy to use. And when I say, boy, I wish I had more colors, they just need to get partnered with the Soft Touch. Castle Arts Soft Touch 120 set. Now we're moving on to the next fun set that does have a nice set of colors available that match my color palette, but they are unique, and that is my brand new Brutfuner Metallics that I bought with the neons. It's a 72 set. Here are all my fantastic colors. I am very excited to play with them now. It's going to be hard because I noticed this flower doesn't really have the center, so I am going to designate the first petals here as the center. I am still going to add a little glint of this honeyish color to help the leaves to be green. And I may possibly, I'm leaving the rest of this middle open because again, I didn't do any mock-ups. I know that I want these bigger leaves to be the dark and light pink, like all the other flowers are. Oh my gosh, you guys. I am just terrible. So here I am. Let's go reiterate. The center here again is this gold that is actually gold, I think. Oh, bone brown. Not quite gold, but to me it looks like gold or copper. They feel like mica, so they have a very nice feel. And then I went and took a little bit of the gold along these petals, just like so. And then you missed me moving on to this darker pink. I just am too close to the finish line. So yes, preparing this has been hours and hours in the making. My husband loves to tease me about not being done by 5 o'clock. And I'm like, well, I did have to take the cat to the vet at 2, and then my mom wanted me to go with her to check out something that was for sale in the community. And so I had to do that because I spend time with my mom. So I'm coloring a little late tonight. All right, so there's my dark pinks. I'm leaving this like dahlia type center. I have in mind that it might get to be blue and green. Lighter pink. There is the lighter pink. Closest I could come is actually copper. This color palette did not have an obvious pink, but when I colored this, which I have not swatched, so I had to grab colors and do a couple of basic color tests. This was the closest to pink that I could get. I find that with these lines, I'm doing my lines versus ovals. That's just what the flower petals are telling me. Kind of like the tea leaves talking. I try to look at a flower, and if it's a fanciful flower, like these are just made up artistic flowers, I can kind of do whatever I feel like needs to happen. I don't have an image to refer to of a real flower that looks just like any of these. So I'm seeing a little graininess. The tooth of these, so haven't used these very much. This is maybe my 3rd time using them. So I love that I have more color palette to work with than my metallics. I have a 48 set of Castle Arts and a 12 set of the Cretacolor Brilliance, which I used yesterday. And I chose, because I store those together, and I chose to focus on the Cretacolor, which are a brighter color palette. And these are not quite filling in the tooth as much, so I'm having to come back through here and do some filling in. So they're not as fast as the Cretacolors were. And I want to get some blue in. I'm trying to keep my shadows dark here right at the base of where these petals start. Make sure I fill in the tooth. So extra time is required to get that to where it is. Now I'm going to start some of the blue. I have a blue and an aqua color. And we get to do the leaves. I'm going to go light because I want to get some of the aqua, trying to get the leaves to look green. And then the center here, I'm going to focus on looking blue. And these are so small. And I have not sharpened the pencils. These are all just the sharpened as they come. I know a lot of people feel that you need to sharpen your pencils when you get them to clean off like the oils. I have never found that to be true, and I have never ever had a pencil have some sort of finish from the factory that I felt I needed to get rid of. So if I sharpen them, it's just because I want the point sharp, not because I feel there's any residue to be gotten rid of before I can use them. Oh, that looks nice. Okay, so now I want to do, here's my green. It's a very light, lovely, it's called Aquamarine. So it's going to be a perfect finisher to get the green tone. It's a little darker. And I'm going to glaze. I want to keep some highlights if possible. Yeah, these are not quite as easy to use. They feel, again, metallics for me is more of a feel thing, and they are lovely feeling pencils. So I was hoping that I could enjoy, because I do love a nice finished product as well with the different color variations. And this is showing me a pink flower with a blue center and green leaves done with the metallics. So I think I'm achieving what I wanted with this bigger set. My other set is a 48, I believe. I'm adding shadows now, and then we're going to move on. So that is my new Brutfuner Metallic set. Very nice, and that matches nicely. Okay, so here's the set that I missed completely. They were supposed to be done. I missed Derwent Drawing and these. I'm going to flip around now. The last image is a butterfly. There it is. I will color with these for a little bit, talk about them, and then I'll share with you what they are. They have a nice color palette. This is a very large, not a very large, but it is a large set. It is bigger. And I didn't do a very good job of lining these up, did I? Okay. Here's what they look like. They, of course, are a glossy, solid color barrel, so we know that. And it's bigger than a 120, and I'll even tell you it's bigger than a 150. These are a lovely, lovely, probably, oh, no, these are oil. I even think it says oil. Does it say oil? It does. I'll share the barrel where it says oil at the end. Let's see. We've got all these different parts of the butterfly. Let's see. I'm going to do the bright pink. These are like a 3.3 millimeter core. And I really do like, just like the color barrel 3.3 millimeter size core, it's so nice to work in tiny spaces. To me, it's the equivalent of using like a 0.3 or 0.5 millimeter pen nib, like a gel pen with a very delicate tip. That is what a 3.0 to 3.3 millimeter core pencil feels like. And it has its place, and I really appreciate it, especially getting into these small spaces. All right, moving to my light pink. This has a lovely light pink. It does not have a fluorescent pink barrel like the Artisto, and what was the other? The Brutfuner Flower Boxes pink has this vibrant neon pink barrel, and that is not what the color is. I have not checked the time. How are we doing for time? We're doing good. We are going to finish up. I am limited. I've used up my space doing these 3 videos, so my SD card is going to be full. So I am forced to not go over or risk the video stopping when I am not done. Oh yeah, and these blend like a dream. These are fantastic. They are great every time I use them. I hope you can see this great blending between the dark pink and the light pink. And it fills in the tooth so easy. They really do well on this paper. Okay, going with the blue. What are we going to do? I am going to do the darker blue. And the darker blue is not quite as dark. The barrels on these tend to lean to the dark side, as you can tell. Now we've got lots of little elements that we can color here. So let's figure out our extra bits. And we want okay. I didn't pick a super light color for the light blue, and I didn't pick an aqua either. I could have gone more aqua than this, but I think this will work nice. And I did have lots of colors to choose from. Absolutely could have picked an aqua had I really wanted to go that route. Super fast to color these in with this set. All right, and I've got one little bit there. I could leave that white. I think I'm going to leave it white because I can. And I am done, and the pencils are, let's grab this dark one. These are the Maries from China. You cannot buy them like on Amazon, AliExpress, or Temu. I got these on Temu for a great deal. They were very impressive when I got them. I was very impressed. Here's the little oil notation. They also come in a watercolor, and they are the only pencils that I have left in the original non-traditional zippered case. It is a box with 7 trays. There are a free downloadable set for you with labels for the trays. They come in a nice color family order, which I love, a pencil set that comes in a color family order that I can live with, so I don't have to either start researching for a color family order or make my own. And the only annoying thing is they do have the hard to read lettering. The numbers are nonsensical. They're just like random numbers that aren't in any particular order, but at least I can read them. And there are no names on this pencil. And I already have a walkthrough on these as well available. I will not be having links. Most all of these pencils have been touched many times on my website. You can just go to the search for my site and type whatever pencil you're interested in seeing the full array of videos that I have available. I am over time. I am going to back up now, and we're going to do a quick, let's see if I can get the whole page so you can see what we've got. It is nighttime. So there is what my page looks like. It is very soft. I hope it looks like the yoga pants. The only thing I can say is once I get the black on here, I think this whole page is going to change. I tried to leave pops of white. We have some white on the fish. We have some white highlights. I've got white flowers here. White on that butterfly. Some white on the edging of that butterfly. All of the pencils did great. Today's best, I have to pick. I am going to say, and it's not going to be what I thought it was going to be. Where is my cheat sheet of what sets we have? Where did I hide it? Here it is. Sorry, it's hiding underneath the clipboard. And now let me focus, because it's not focused anymore. I'm a little bit far away, aren't I? Okay. So, according to my list, I'm looking at yeah, there you go. My favorite is this one here. It felt fantastic. I talked about the branch being a fun element in that gold color, and that the pencils were great. And that is my tried and true Brutfuner. I tell you, these just are, I don't know what it is about them, but they just are the winner for me by feel and the end result every time I use them. So they continue to be my favorite. Number 2 would definitely be the Polys. So that is it, everybody. We have finished with this page. Again, we will revisit this page a couple more times. There will be the monthly review, and I'll come up with some thoughts on the whole page, and we'll hone in on certain sets. And then I'll also be working on a nice stream with edited imagery and my planning. Here's a quick peek at my planning, my little planning document, and I tried not to cheat. So my bigger page, I won't even show you. It doesn't have a lot, but I will be adding some notes about how I feel about the pencils to complete all of my documentation for this set. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you had a fun time coloring. Our next page that we're working on, which will be, I'll be working on tomorrow, is the 3 houses. We are going to be changing to another round. I have 1 set of pencils left. Again, it's the Derwent Inktense, so the top house will be done in a wet medium. And I don't even know what the next 2 houses are going to be. So do all the YouTube things, like, share, comment, consider subscribing, and I hope to see you all there.